All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to look at something you've probably walked past 100 times at the post office or the grocery store, but probably haven't given a second thought. We're talking about the money order. Just a little rectangular slip of paper, right? On the surface, it seriously seems like the most mundane topic imaginable. But I promise you, there is way more than meets the eye here. We're going to unpack this fascinating dual nature of the money order and explore how balancing its everyday utility with some pretty intense financial crime risks is actually one of the most interesting challenges in our modern financial system.
So, really think about that for a second. How exactly does a basic piece of paper bought at your local post office become a money launderer's absolute best friend? It's a tool that was designed for, paying bills or securely mailing a gift to your nephew. Yet it holds this incredibly dark, hidden potential. By the end of our time together today, you're going to completely understand how this innocent, everyday payment tool can be totally twisted into an instrument of financial concealment. Let's just quickly level set here. By definition, a money order is simply a prepaid negotiable instrument. You walk in, hand over some cash, and in return you get a secure, fixed amount slip of paper. It's entirely legitimate, heavily relied upon, and serves a very basic, honest function in our everyday economy. The USPS literally calls it a safer alternative to cash and personal checks. And honestly, they're spot on. If you're paying rent but you don't have a checking account, or you're mailing a birthday gift securely across the country, this is your go-to tool. The money order is a highly accessible, totally vital retail payment convenience. Millions of people rely on them every single day just to navigate their normal economic lives. Okay, let's really dive into this, because this is where the whole story kind of flips. To understand the real vulnerability of the money order, we have to look at exactly where it sits within the broader financial ecosystem. Think of it as a spectrum. On one far end, you've got completely anonymous cash. Hand over a $20 bill and boom, no trace. On the other end, you have fully account-based bank transfers, where literally every penny is tracked from sender to receiver. The money order exists right in the middle of those two extremes.
I love this quote because it hits the nail right on the head. They sit between cash and fully account-based payments. It's essentially a bridge because they aren't entirely anonymous like cash, but they also aren't rigorously tracked like a digital bank wire. They create this really unique gray area. They act as a bridge, connecting that innocent, everyday utility we just talked about straight to some deep, deep financial crime vulnerabilities. So let's actually walk through the mechanics of why criminals absolutely love this bridge. Step 1, a criminal takes their anonymous, dirty cash. Step 2, they use that cash to purchase a money order. Step 3, they have now successfully converted that illicit cash into a more portable, more acceptable, and often much less transparent payment instrument. Just by buying a piece of paper, the criminal has taken a massive step in cleaning their money. So what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's crack open the criminal playbook. Money orders show up all the time in financial crime. Criminals use them to make shady payments appear more secure or formal than just, handing over a duffel bag full of cash. They use them to structure purchases to keep under the radar. They use them to fund scams or to move value entirely outside the traditional banking system. We even see them heavily featured in fraud schemes, where innocent victims are either mailed fake money orders or tricked into buying them and sending them off to scammers. It's wild. Now, what's really fascinating here is that the problem isn't the paper itself. It's that a money order acts as a cash equivalent that drastically reduces immediate visibility. If I send you a digital transfer, our banks see the whole shebang. But if I send you a money order that I bought with a stack of cash, suddenly that trail becomes incredibly murky. Well, regulators definitely noticed this blind spot. Under the U.S. Bank Secrecy Act, or BSA, framework, certain money orders are officially regulated under this broader umbrella of monetary instruments. And this is exactly why they are flagged and included in strict anti-money laundering, or AML, record-keeping and reporting rules. The government knows the risk is there, so they absolutely demand oversight. And that brings us to the magic numbers, $3,000 to $10,000. This is a super crucial threshold to remember. According to FinCEN guidance, financial institutions absolutely must verify the customer's identity and keep specific records before selling any money orders bought with cash in amounts between $3,000 and $10,000 inclusive. That very specific dollar range is there because of the widely recognized money laundering risk attached to this exact product. But look, rules and thresholds only get you so far, right? For financial firms, the ultimate defense relies on something way more subjective. The control issue is almost always context. We call this the rule of context. A money order sitting on a desk in a vacuum tells you absolutely nothing.
Financial institutions basically have to play detective. They have to look at the entire behavior surrounding the purchase to figure out if a crime is actually going down.
Let's contrast a couple of scenarios. Buying a money order to pay your monthly rent because your landlord is old school and doesn't take checks? Totally benign. That's a normal personal payment. But when the activity completely breaks from a customer's normal economic profile, like it makes no sense for who they are and what they do, that is exactly when the alarms need to sound.
So what do these red flags actually look like out in the wild? First up, repeated purchases with currency. If someone is walking in day after day, dropping stacks of cash on the counter just to buy money orders, that completely shatters the context of normal everyday utility. Nobody pays rent every single day. Next up on the red flag list, customers with absolutely zero clear, legitimate need. If a customer's economic profile doesn't align at all with buying bulk prepaid instruments, say a broke college student who's suddenly buying thousands of dollars in money orders every single week, that behavior breaks the expected mold and drastically spikes the risk level. Now, here is a really big one. Structuring across multiple locations or days. Remember that $3,000 to $10,000 FinCEN threshold we talked about? Well, criminals know about it too. So they actively try to dodge those exact reporting rules by keeping their purchases just under the limit and then spreading them out across different post offices or over several days. This kind of intentional evasion is a massive red flag. Investigators often call this tactic smurfing or structuring. And that brings us to the final major red flag in our rapid-fire sequence, the rapid conversion of cash into negotiable instruments. This one is all about speed and aggressive intent. When individuals are rushing to convert big piles of cash into paper instruments as fast as humanly possible, it is a glaring indicator that something highly illicit is taking place right beneath the surface. So the crucial point we need to walk away with today is this. The money order is a massive double-edged sword. As we've seen, it's absolutely a legitimate prepaid payment instrument. It's a vital retail convenience for millions of people. But in the financial crime environment, it's also a product that easily facilitates the concealment, structuring, and movement of illicit value, especially if controls are weak. Even though it's an older, seemingly boring payment product, it remains totally operationally critical for AML, fraud, and customer risk monitoring. You just can't afford to ignore it. Which leaves us with a pretty wild final thought for this explainer. We've just seen exactly how criminals exploit the gap between anonymous cash and tracked digital wires using something you can literally buy at your neighborhood grocery store. So I'll leave you with this question. If a simple, everyday piece of paper can hide millions of dollars in illicit funds, what else in our daily lives is slipping right through the cracks? Thank you so much for learning with me today, and keep questioning the systems around you.